Good morning. April 7th, God calling Calvary. Got it even tied. Bear, reproach gladly. You got Calvary, horses, and bear. That's a bear. Arr. All right, let's see what Calvary's got to say. From the death of my body on the cross, as from the shedding of husks in seed life, springs the new life, which is my gift to every man who will accept it. Die with me to self, to the human life, and then you will know the rapture's life of Easter resurrection, a risen life, so glad and free can be yours. Mary left home and kindred, friends all, the Easter morning in her search for me, and not until the Mary had been followed by the glad triumphant rapture of her, Rabboni, was her search over. So with each of you, man speaks to you too of a buried Christ. Search until you meet me face to face, and my tender uttering of your name awakens your glad Rabboni. Guys, recently, it's been all about, the theme has been loss of self, right? Taking yourself out of the equation. Stop being so selfish. Stop always being in your head. Stop always making everything about you, right? If you are constantly always thinking about yourself, and it's always a selfish mentality, you're never going to be able to truly see God. You're never going to be able to truly hold godliness in your heart and hold true love and brotherly affection and all these things that God calls us to do. All these things that God calls us to be. You cannot be the person that you were created to be. You cannot be the best version of yourself if you are always thinking about yourself. And I know that sounds weird, right? It sounds weird. How are you supposed to improve yourself if you're not thinking about yourself? Well, that's the exact reason, because if you're always thinking about yourself, then you're just going to be thinking about your imperfections, what you do wrong. And it's going to be from a standpoint that is you, that's your own brain, right? That's biased, that doesn't really know right from wrong, right? So that's why you can only have one true source that knows the truth, and that's God. That's Jesus. And that's what you need in your heart. And God's saying, yeah, just as he died, right? He keeps saying that. Like, this is the second day in a row he said that. Just as he died on the cross, just as he died and came back to life, it's time for us to let our old selves die. It's time for us to let ourselves go, our selfish past go, and just embrace who we are, embrace God, right? And resurrect into a new life, resurrect your soul into a new life. So take this moment, take this time. This is an era where you really just need to, your old self needs to go away. Your old selfish self, cast all those things aside and just resurrect with God, with Jesus in the tomb, and become a better person, become the person you're meant to be. God even said, bear reproach gladly. Rest unto your souls is found at my feet. The place of rest is the place of humility. When you rejoice to serve humbly, when you're content for men to think ill of you, when you can bear reproach and scorn gladly, then what can disturb the gladness of your soul? It's rest. That is so beautiful to think about. Like, you're only going to be able to get to the point where you can truly know that you have just cast away all selfish inhibitions when you just don't care what other people think, right? When you're able to just, like it said, lay down at his feet, right? Imagine that you just walk up to a random person and you lay down at their feet and you look up at them like a little baby sucking your thumb, right? You're going to have so much shame, right? And there's going to be like so much humility you feel, because you just feel like you might be lesser. You feel like that person's looking down on you, right? But until you can do that, and not until you can serve other people, not think about yourself, until you can take criticism, take hate, take all these things just as Jesus did, and not be thinking about yourself, not be thinking about those selfish repercussions and how it's going to affect you or how other people look at you, then you know that you still have stuff to work on. So that's a great way to tell that God's telling us. No unrest can assail and hurt the soul that has not its spring in self. That self must be nailed to my cross. That self must die before you can truly say, I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. If you truly have God and Jesus in your heart, then you're not going to care. Anything anyone can say or throw at you, right? You're not going to care. It's not going to matter. Any intrusive thought that comes in your head, you'll be able to dismiss it because you know that God's truly with you. So guys, work to get to that point. That's one of the hardest things we can do. The hardest things we can do is put ourselves on that cross. And that's why God had to do it for us. That's why Jesus had to do it for us. And he's forgiven us, right, for all of our sins. But now it's our turn. Now it's our step to take God's grace, take that faith, and amplify it. All right, this is where we come in. And everyone's going to have to work on this every single day of their life. It's so hard, right? But get to the point where you can really just lay down at God's feet, kneel at God's feet, and accept him, and understand that it's only him, that you must listen to him, that he knows right from wrong, he knows truth, and nobody else can affect you. Nobody else can bother you. Nobody else can say things to you that has any sort of weight, because it's not of God, it's not of Jesus, right? If someone scorns you, if someone hates on you, like, how, that's not of Jesus at all. So why should it matter? Why should that affect you? I know it's easier said than done, but it's something we all got to work on. So I love you guys. That's a very important message. That is April 7th. I love you guys. If anyone has any prayer requests, please comment them down below. I'd love to pray for you tomorrow. And with that, I'll say amen.